Hello, everybody, and welcome to. What? Did you say something, H Perks? Welcome to the news beat, the stream that's taking place. Yes. So yeah, today I'm going to be talking about Quaternion, and I've got Crypt of the Necrodancer up so that you have something to watch in the background. I'm going to be playing as Bard, which is the one character who doesn't have to move to the beat. So I'm just going to turn the sound and music completely off because who cares? I mean, sound is, I guess, helpful in this game, but there are only really a couple cases where it makes a huge difference. And besides, I don't really care about this game. I care about talking to you guys and giving you an update on what the heck is going on with Quaternion. I can't even say the name of it. That's not a good sign. Quaternion, especially given that I haven't played it in haven't played it or haven't streamed it in like a couple months. So, once everybody's ready, let's get started here. So, what's going on with Quaternion? So, I say so a lot, don't I? Maybe I should have a script next time I do one of these streams. I don't know. Anyway, it's been a summer, and I've been busy this summer, and I know that's not a great excuse, but basically what happened is I did a stream rather early on in the summer where I said that Quaternion was going on hiatus for a while. Ooh, that's an interesting item. But then I never uploaded that stream to YouTube and never announced the hiatus on the forums. I was going to do those things, and then I came down with one of the worst colds I've ever had. So, yeah, that's what happened. And then after I got not having a horrible cold again, I was just lazy, and yeah, it wasn't good. But, long story short, and I believe I went over this before, but I'll go over it again, because, not everybody saw that stream, and it's not up on YouTube yet. It will be up on YouTube very soon. Do not get me wrong. I have let you guys down too many times, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. You get the idea. So what's happening right now is I've really realized in the past months that Quaternion, as I originally envisioned it, is not happening in any kind of reasonable time frame. I think I did the math, and it was going to be like 2022 before the game was released, if I stuck to my original vision. That is unacceptable. 2022, like, we're talking there would be 18-year-olds then. Wow, I died. Okay. There will be 18-year-olds then who aren't even, like, old enough to use the forums at, like, right now. So yeah. Heck, 2022, like, Buzz Music is going to be, like, old enough to drink, I think. So, yeah, that's way too long to be working on a single game project. So here's my decision. The game is going to be a lot smaller than originally anticipated. I was originally planning to have 15 huge, like, levels with all kinds of stuff in them and all sorts of, other things like, side quests and areas. Between the areas, you get the idea. Well, rather than 15 levels, the new plan is to have approximately 4 or 5. I don't want to give you all the details of my current plan, but basically, my idea for the game now is that there are going to be sort of 4 main areas you go into, and then once you've completed those 4, there's a 5th area. And if that seems like a really short game, don't worry. I have two things for you to keep in mind. Number one is I feel like, quality over quantity is a huge deal, and I'm going to work hard to ensure that those 4 areas are really cool and interesting. Or 5 areas, technically. The other thing is I'm going to make sure all the information you need to make your own levels is available. Is this a... What is that room? Is that a shopkeeper? Like a demonic, monstrous shopkeeper? Nope, it's just a boss room. Okay. Anyway, so hopefully this means that if some really great level builders get on the ball, we could have some really awesome custom levels for Quaternion as well. And I'm going to make sure that that's something that can be done. Now, all the good level builders are currently working on PQ. Not all the good level builders, but a lot of them. Like Threefolder, for instance. Threefolder, one of the best level builders I've seen, is currently working on PQ. And that's occupying a large amount of his time. So, who are these level builders I'm talking about? Well, all the ones who are working on PQ. And the ones who aren't, obviously, but that's another thing to keep in mind, is by the time Quaternion is released, it'll still probably be released around the same time as PQ. I don't know for certain, but, yeah. So what we're currently looking at timeline-wise, and, again, this isn't a promise, timeline-wise, we're looking at maybe a summer 2017 release for Quaternion, and that is still a long way off, and I have no clue about a lot of things that are going to happen in my life in between. For one thing, I think I'm going to be trying to apply to grad school, and who knows how much of my time that'll occupy. So don't count on that being an accurate estimate, is what I'm saying. It could be that I finish up early, and, like, it's spring, and I'm already done with, like, everything I originally planned to have in the game, and I start, like, making DLC, or just really polishing, more likely really polishing what I have. Another option, another possibility is that, obviously, it takes me too long, and, like, spring is coming around, and I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm going to have the whole thing out by this summer. In which case, I'll have a couple options. One would be to, again, reduce the scope of the project. I really wouldn't like to do that for the simple reason that it would, I'm already reducing the scope drastically at the moment. I don't want to, like, basically make the game smaller and smaller until there practically isn't a game left. So yeah. That's definitely one thing to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is even if the game does end up delayed past that summer 2017 number that I'm giving you, there's a quote from Shigeru Miyamoto, who, in my mind, is possibly the most, like, skilled game designer that I've ever heard of or seen. He said that sorry, I'm trying to focus on the game here because it's getting a little bit intense. I don't know how familiar people are with this game. I've streamed it a couple times before, but yeah. Anyway, what Miyamoto once said is that a delayed game is eventually good, but a bad game is bad forever. In other words, it's better to force people to wait a little bit before you give them the game that they're looking for. It's better to do that than to make changes or, do things, poorly, like half-ass, excuse my language, the game, to the point where it's not as good as originally intended. it's better to essentially sacrifice your scheduling for the purpose of the quality of the product in the end. And I'm sure you'd agree with that. But, I mean, I'm sure you'd agree that delaying a game like 6 or 7 years is a little bit much, which is why I've reduced the scope of the project thus far. Now, don't think that this means the new version of the game, the, Quaternion as it will be, don't think that it's going to look like a partially completed game. By no means. It's still going to be a complete game in its own right, just a smaller complete game. I've sort of revised my idea for the design of, how the levels go, which levels are where, etc., to make it not seem like a smaller version of a bigger game, but just a small game in its own right. Ooh, yes. Sorry, I got a healing spell and I got all excited. I shouldn't have used it right away. That was actually somewhat dumb. Anyway. So yeah. Now, a couple of other changes you guys should be aware of. So far in Quaternion, I've been go and, do some stuff, and on this sort of weekly cycle of, then after, the week is over, stream on quote-unquote Friday, which is, essentially, Sunday at this point, and then post a thing of what to do for the next week. I'm abandoning this cycle. The reason being that I think what's ended up happening is it's just resulted in me rushing to get something done by the end of the week so I have something to show for myself, and as a result producing poor quality content. And the game is just sort of trudging along. I'm going to allow myself to take breaks if I need to take them at this point. But now that I have, of course, that sort of final deadline of summer, I'm going to try to keep to a better work ethic about that. But yeah. The whole task doesn't seem quite so monumental either at this point, given that I've sort of reduced the scope of what's going to be in the game. So what am I going to do instead then? Well, expect no weekly updates and no Feature Fridays. Instead, if I have some significant portion of the work done, or something I need your opinion about, that's when I'll let you guys know. I will try to have streams every so often, if people are wondering how development is going. But that's the other thing I'm going to change. They won't be Quaternion streams. That is to say, I won't actually be showing the game, most likely. Dang! 3-3. Oh well. The reason why I won't actually be showing the game is because I feel that there's a certain... I have all these great ideas for what the game is going to be like, but because A, they might change, B, I don't want the game to just not be a surprise. I want to keep things secret, is what I'm saying. I don't want to just reveal, oh, here's the entire game, now you can play it, but, you already know all of the solutions to all the puzzles, etc., etc. So instead what will be happening is... there will be a... There will at some point actually... Oh, I'm screwed. Wow, I actually got out of that with half a heart. Better than Donald Trump. Anyway, what I'll actually be doing is, and you guys can get excited about this, although I have no idea when it'll be, I'm going to try to get a playable demo of Quaternion released. And that's going to happen at some point in the future. I don't know when. Sometime before next summer, when the full game gets released. So, yeah, that's something to look forward to. I'm thinking, so the game is going to consist of, as I said, like 4 or 5 major areas, and I'm thinking the demo will be one of these areas. So, yeah, that's going to be cool. At this point, I'm willing to listen to any questions or comments that anybody has. I mean, I already was, but, what? Is that like a euphemism? I'm an idiot. What did you just say? I didn't quite catch that. Yes, I want the judge. Okay. So yeah. So that's where I am. And I want the judge, apparently. I'm not quite sure what this means. Hopefully I haven't agreed to a drug deal. Nature Freak asked a question in this other chat that I have open, and I'm just going to say the answer to your question, Nature Freak, is I believe so. Nobody knows what the question is. That's okay. It's not important. Anybody else have questions? This is always the point in the stream where I'm like expecting people to be actually interested in what I just like spent half an hour talking about, and like nobody ever is. Let me make sure you're actually getting across. Say something? Oh, crap. Yeah, I'm realizing right now that, there we go. Say something now.
Test. Meme.
Okay.
Gosh.
Yeah, you've actually been muted the whole time on the stream. I apologize for that.
No problem. I was contributing a lot. All right, so now nobody, you can show us your great musical tastes. He left. Yes, you're
Uh-oh.
back. All right, show us your musical taste now.
Is he going to play music on the stream?
If he's not a pussy, I mean, a cowardly. Yeah. Come on, nobody. Cue something up.
Ah, yes, the whip. Otherwise known as the what the frack did I just hit? The whip is a very confusing weapon to use in this game, actually, because just because of its damage radius, it makes it kind of hard to tell when you're hitting something and when you're just walking into yourself like a derp. So yeah, it's kind of confusing because, and the other thing is, if you attack something, you don't move on that turn, so you can try to move and inadvertently attack something instead because you didn't realize it was within your range of attack. Because the range of attack on the whip is really weird, so you can have that be an issue. What's so funny?
Geez, maybe you'd know if you didn't have every channel muted.
I mean, I'm streaming.
All right, well, I've basically just been going through old chat logs, and this guy.
Wow, that was flawless? Huh. I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream after my next death, honestly. That sounds really morbid when I put it that way. I mean, in game, obviously. Yeah, obviously, no. The next time I actually die IRL, I'm going to stop the stream. I'm going to keep streaming for the rest of my life. Alright, well, if nobody else has any questions, I think I'm going to leave the stream here. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. I'm going
Bye.
to try to get these up on YouTube soon. And yeah, so long story short, just quick recap. Quaternium's going to be smaller, going to have about 4 or 5 major levels. It's going to be released sometime about a year from now, although the exact release date isn't yet known and is subject to change. We aren't going to have the same weekly posts and cycles and streams and all that. Instead, I'll just stream as I feel is appropriate, as I get some amount of work done, or if I need people's opinions on something. And yeah. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. What?
And Whirligig wants to Josh.
Yes.
Someone hook him up.
So I will see you all next time. Goodbye.